So we load this BlephEx tip as a little double-barreled design. It just fits in a little double-barreled opening, fits in securely. Make sure you dip in the top of the reservoir with a little bit of the BlephEx eyelid cleanser soaked into the, or poured into the top. And now we get going here. And this is really all about positioning the lid so we can get a good eyelid margin treatment. When I start this sponge, I like to hold it away from the patient so I don't splatter everybody in the room, or splatter the patient. I'd rather splatter everybody in the room. But I don't want to splatter her, so I just look up at the ceiling. And for the lower lid, simple, we just pull down. We want to evert that eyelid just a little bit. Take the face of the sponge, the flat part of the sponge, we're going to go right along the flat part of the eyelid with one little subtle adjustment. We want to clean the back edge of the eyelid margin, right at that back corner where the meibomian glands come to the surface. And I'm going to treat about 30 seconds here or so. You want to have a tissue in your hand so you can keep the eyelid dry so it doesn't slip on you. Back corner edge. And that's something new we've kind of added to our training on eyelids, is that back corner. So a lot of people doing this will focus on the eyelashes. But remember, eyelashes don't make a single drop of oil for the tears. Right? They grow lashes. We're here to save meibomian glands. We'll save the lash follicles at the same time. But if we focus on lashes, you'll never get that back edge of the eyelid margin because everyone's afraid, oh, you're going to bump the eye, you're going to hurt the eye, something's going to happen. You want to be further away from the eye all the time. But that's not what we do here. We've got to be closer to the eye, get to that back edge. That little soft sponge is soaked in a solution. It's just soft as cotton. You're not going to debride or hurt the cornea. Now I've reversed the spin. I'm going to do the same thing again. Look up high. And I'm treating the same area, right on that little back corner there. If you focus on the meibomian openings, you'll get the lashes by default. So don't worry about lashes. Worry about that back edge. If we don't unroof those glands, it doesn't matter what we do to the meibomian glands. The meibomian gland is this great big gland here. So when we clean these eyelids, we don't want to focus out here. That's where everyone tends to focus because there's debris there, there's the scurf, there's the biofilm buildup, and it's easy to see that, and everyone wants to focus on that and clean lashes, and they want to tend to shy away from the back edge of the eyelid because it's closer to the eyeball. And a lot of people, when they're doing this treatment, they're scared to death they're going to touch the eye. Well, that little soft cotton, soft sponge is not going to do anything to the eyeball, even if you do bump the eyeball. So don't worry about lashes. They'll get cleaned automatically. We want to worry about this very back corner here along the eyelid margin. Focus on that. You'll get the lashes sort of automatically, but don't focus on them because you'll miss your glands. It is critical that we actually remove a saran wrap layer of biofilm from this very back edge. So when I'm cleaning with my BlephEx, I'm getting back here. I'm not focusing on lashes. I can't stress that enough. If you don't get this saran wrap layer off here, it doesn't matter how much you try to resuscitate these glands. They're not going to give you any oil because the gland openings are all saran wrapped off. So for the upper lid, I'm going to bring my thumb in, and my thumb comes in flat, about a 1/4 inch from where the lashes are. It's about where the lid crease is, top of the tarsal plate. I'm going to press in, and then I'm going to roll down, and you can see what that does to the lid margin. It pops it out. If I come in and just try to lift, that doesn't pop that lid margin out to where I can get a good treatment on it. So everyone typically wants to come in and they'll start trying to lift the upper just like they pull down the lower. Does not work. Come in with your thumb flat. Don't even pre-roll it a little bit. We want to come in flat, press, and then roll to the floor. And you see what that does. Pops the lid margin out. Now I can treat that all day long, and I can get, once again, that back edge, you see, right back here. I'm not trying to get lashes. I'll get those anyway. I'm trying to get that back corner because that's the critical part to rescuing these meibomian glands and getting them resuscitated. And it's the same thing about 30 minutes, spinning in one direction, focused, pressing hard. If you press too gently and you're afraid of the treatment, you don't want to hurt the patient, you'll actually cause more discomfort. It tickles more. So you want to press firmly on these eyelids as you're going across there. And then I'm going to reverse. Same thing. All right, right eye's done. Let's go to the left eye now. Now, for the left lower lid, it's not so simple as just pulling down. You can't just reach across because the nose pushes your finger up in the way and it blocks you from getting a good treatment. So you have to use your thumb on your left hand, do the C technique, come all the way around, look up at the ceiling, hold it off, splatter somebody else, not the patient, and use your thumb to pull that eyelid down to give yourself that margin. And again, it's the back edge. I keep emphasizing that, but that is so important. Back edge of the lid. Now, some of these lids will be very floppy. They'll be loose because of chronic inflammation. So sometimes you got to pull a little bit laterally to stabilize, keep it from flopping over on you. That's kind of a common trick. Try to get it to stabilize, get right back there on there. Now, don't worry about bumping the eyeball again. I think there's only been one documented look up high. Have the patient keep looking up high. That's also important. One documented case of a corneal abrasion from this. And it was in a patient who had recurrent erosion syndrome. So very hard to give an abrasion with this device. I'm going to reverse it. Now I got kind of a good stable position of that lid. I can get that back corner. Sometimes another little trick on the lower lids, you can kind of do what you do to the upper lid. You can kind of push in a little bit like this. And many times that stabilizes it like that, if you can see that. Still wants to flop a little bit on me. That's just chronic inflammation. Those lids will generally tighten up. If you catch floppy eyelid syndrome early and get rid of the inflammation, you can many times tighten that up again. Okay. Now the upper lid, there's no difference between right and left eye. Okay, the right side we did that, expose it. Left side I just reach over and do the exact same thing. Just roll down and pop in. Okay. Now when you do that, once again, you don't want to come in already pre-rolled because this technique involves rolling the thumb down after you're pressing on the eyelid. So come in flat and then roll down. So I'm going to come in flat right here. Now I'm going to roll down and look how that lid just wants to pop right over for me. The other great thing about this technique, it'll make the upper eyelids actually easier to treat than the lowers. Because let's say you have a very uncooperative patient. Now she's a fabulous patient, but what if she starts squeezing, like she can't stand the treatment? Go ahead and squeeze your eyes one time. Look at that. I can still treat that upper lid. Okay, you can stop squeezing now. I can still treat it. You sort of own it if you learn that press and roll down technique to get that lid margin. Again, focusing on the very back corner. That's a critical first step, way, way back there. I've even had patients where they squeeze a little bit, you can treat both lids at the same time. Now that doesn't happen very often, but when you have that, just go ahead and do it. Get them both at the same time. In this case, we're just getting that upper lid. I'm going to reverse this. Keep looking down. Patient's got to look down. That's going to help you as well. Okay, good. Not so bad?
Not so bad.
There you go.